Welcome to New Hampshire's Business. I'm Fred Coker. There's a significant issue on a 146,000-acre forest at the very top of New Hampshire in Coos County. Cut down trees for timber and taxes locally, or leave them standing to provide carbon credits to companies outside New Hampshire. Both are happening, but there are big issues. Let's break this down to basics. At the top of New Hampshire, the Connecticut Lakes Headwaters Forest, owned by Aurora Sustainable Lands, LLC, a Texas company, provides carbon credits from forest for U.S. clients. Then the New Hampshire conservation easements, forestry and agricultural uses, wildlife protection, recreation. The Connecticut Lakes Headwaters Forest has an easement to be working forest for local timber harvesting, business and recreation. Here's a quote from one of my guests: "The perfect storm that is decimating our tax base and the way of life." Mark Brady, County Administrator in Coos. Aurora's statement: "As stewards of this 146,000-acre forest, Aurora Sustainable Lands is committed to honoring the letter and spirit of the conservation easement, maintaining a strong and healthy working forest, which includes continuing timber harvesting and maintaining and enhancing its use and enjoyment by the public." That's Blake Stansel, the president of Aurora Sustainable Lands. With me to explain this important issue in North Country communities and timber and recreation business is Mark Brady, Administrator of Coos County, and Arnold Davis, State Representative in the legislature from Milan. Welcome. Nice to have you here.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Mark, what's the real issue between the timber and the carbon?
The issue right now is that the single biggest piece of private property in the state has been traditionally harvested over years. Okay, it was registered with California a number of years ago to maximize carbon sequestration, maximization. And so what that does is there's a trade-off. Fred, it's kind of like you're either going to cut traditionally the way you would normally do, which would give you about 3 cuts through 100 years, and would generate that tax revenue base through the yield tax, the timber tax, or you put it into carbon sequestration, which drastically reduces cutting and therefore drastically reduces what the towns receive.
The trees have to remain standing.
They have to remain standing.
Arnold, you have a bill in the legislature, House Bill 123, in the legislature that would let communities get tax revenues from standing trees, which I assume would replace the tax revenue lost to communities from the harvesting of those trees.
Exactly. Fred, the reason that carbon sequestration isn't in that RSA already is in 1949, when that bill was enacted, that timber sequestration did not exist. It's another form of yield on those same trees. You're selling those trees whether you cut them or whether you don't. So it's just this bill is a mechanism to, it's not a new tax, it's timber tax, which is 76 years old.
But the communities have relied on the timber tax, and now it's being cut back.
I believe there's 121 towns in New Hampshire that rely heavily on timber tax to keep their local property taxes down. And so by doing carbon sequestration, you lose that form of timber tax.
Right. Okay. I've been communicating with Aurora representatives in New Hampshire, and here's a quote from them about the loss of timber harvesting tax revenue to communities. And they say, to address this, Aurora Sustainable Lands made voluntary donations to the towns of Pittsburgh, Stewartstown, and Clarksville in 2024 as a show of commitment to these local communities, and will do the same in 2025. Reaction?
Can I go over?
Go ahead.
That is a true statement, but that is grossly low from what the timber tax used to be.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's disingenuous by them. I think that, look, you take the county. We have the 23 unincorporated places.
Yep.
We are land management epicenter in the state.
Right.
Okay. 28% of our revenues come from timber tax.
Right.
If we don't get, it used to be, Fred, it used to be 48%.
Yeah.
All right. If you don't get that, then you have to go make that money up from property tax. And for Aurora to say that they can give a little bit of money to Pittsburgh or West Stewartstown, as we just went through, we just talked about, a phenomenal winter to harvest, and we've got no harvesting on their property.
Very briefly, the Trump tariff tax on lumber that just went into effect from Canada. What does that do? What wrinkle does that put into this situation?
Well, I think what it does is, obviously we talked about it creating uncertainty for the companies and for the Canadian companies and the U.S. companies. I think the intent is very clear. The intent by the president is to build up the U.S. timber industry. We import, what, about 30% of our timber needs
Yep.
from Canada now. You would think that that would ultimately help the North Country.
Yep.
And we're ready to be able to fill that role.
And I thank you, Mark Brady, who is Administrator for Coos County, and Arnold Davis, who is State Representative from Milan. Appreciate it.
Right.
And if you missed part of this briefing, you can go to WMUR.com, where it will be posted all this week.